Live from Canada, it's the SSN podcast with your host, Larcher, Colin, Michael, and Liberty. All right, well, Dad's gone, so, fucking Goonies forever. Right, everybody, welcome to. I know you guys are too young to understand that. Fuck. Welcome to the SSN podcast. Oh, motherfucker! I can't trust you, Gen Z boppers anymore. I don't know.
Well, I feel disrespected as a movie person for you saying you don't know who you wouldn't know a Goonies reference.
I mean, am I wrong?
I've seen the movie where Thanos is one of the good guys. Like it's it's a good one.
Hey, you guys.
I think my mom actually made me watch it as a kid. My mom really liked the
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great movie. I fucking love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, welcome to the SSN podcast, episode 7 of the reboot, if I'm not mistaken. Live for our Patreon members only. So, whoever's a patron who's over here, thank you so much for joining. You guys are the best. We love you. There's a couple things that we got to talk about today, and it's gonna be kind of like while we were setting it up, I was thinking about it, and this is gonna be a very laid back podcast on this one for a couple of reasons. One of them being I'm fucking exhausted. The topics that I have are gonna be relying on you guys to talk about it. One of them I can talk about it myself. And also, yeah, I'm fucking tired. And it's gonna be like an overall review of what we're doing on streams, what you guys want to do to change it, all that fun jazz. If there's anything that you guys want to do like that, I think it'll be kind of a good time to talk about it and have some input from our Patreon members as well, since they are here to learn with us. Now, Will, I gotta ask you before we go any further, is there a way to add moderator? There you go. Will, you're a moderator for this chat. Never mind. You're good to go now. Will, I gotta ask you real quick. Did you jump up a level, or did this link just get open for you to come click on it and there was nothing to stop you from doing it? That's all I want to know. Guys, depending on what you say.
Sounds like an interrogation.
Yeah. Tell me your secrets. Where is she?
The numbers, Mason.
What do they mean? Nope, there it is. Thank you. Will upgraded. Thank you, Will, for upgrading. You're the best. I love you for you, brother. Anyways, this is gonna be super chill. Where's Rachel? It's gonna be a super chill podcast. Like I said, I'm fucking tired, guys. Fun fact as to why I'm tired. Last night, I got drunk off of bourbon and Pepsi because of Tracy. I asked him, hey, can you just kind of make me a drink while I'm streaming? Just something kind of casual, just chill. And she's like, yeah, sure. And she takes a tumbler glass, all right, and she does this, all right. So pretend this delicious orange flavored bubbly is my tumbler glass. Let's go right here.
Yeah.
This much of it is bourbon. This much of it is Pepsi.
Nice.
Could have used a little bit more bourbon.
Yeah, just a little top of it.
Just a splash.
Oh my god, dude! It was this moment of like, what are you doing? She's like, I just have fun. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I fucking right. And it started because I think we were gonna play. I was playing the beginning part of the first hour and a half. I was playing Resident Evil 8, and after that point, I ended up switching a little less Pepsi. I switched over to Apex Arenas because that game mode came out last week or the week before. This week. It came out this week, right? Yeah.
This week.
Okay.
And I hadn't played it yet, so I played that. I got fucking drunk, and god damn, dude, I think it was around 12:30, 1 o'clock. My wife comes by at the door. She's like, hey, I need your help because Felix isn't sleeping. I'm like, fuck me. Go upstairs, get him to finally settle down. By the time I finally fall asleep, it's like maybe 3 o'clock. Wake up at 5:30 because Felix wakes up, and I've been up ever since, and I've been trying. And Tracy tried to give me like a little extra sleep. Oh my god, it just didn't work. So I'm like so fucking low energy right now. And it's just at this point, I'm like, okay, what do we have? What are our topics? What can we talk about? And obviously, during the prep time, our boy here, Lib, was talking about how he wants to get stepped on.
Yep.
by a certain person.
By a person that everybody, if you're in any type of video game atmosphere at all, you should know who I'm talking about.
Think about Lady D.
Beautiful segue to the new Resident Evil game, which there's been a lot of talk on. I've heard mostly positive things about it. Personally, I like half played Resident Evil 7. Kind of just like watched Sinjin play and then I tried playing it on my own, but I'm terrible with horror. Like Justin, Colin both fucking know I'm so bad with like horror games and fucking horror in general.
Yeah.
But it looked so fun. I wanted to give her a shot. But speaking of like the horror, I think Justin had posted a link about how they were trying to make it less scary because they wanted to reach a broader audience.
Yeah, so let me pull that up for you guys. Just kind of give you kind of a rough idea as to what was being talked about here. So this is from a VGC. I'm going to get the author's name because I always want to credit them when I can. This is posted by Tom Ivan on Video Game Chronicles. And it was how one of these, the creators of Resident Evil 8 wanted to tone down the scary factors of Resident Evil 8. Because in 7, they got some player feedback saying that the game was a little bit too scary. And I was trying to understand what the fuck they were talking about that, right? Because just this week, I finished off again, probably for the 4th time, Resident Evil 7, because I think it's probably one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. It's a great game. And I was trying to figure out what they were talking about. And after playing some Resident Evil 8, I get it. I know exactly what they're referencing. So
what's toned down in terms of the scare tactic? Okay.
Yeah, so I think Resident Evil 8 still has the same amount of tension and like shit moments. Like, oh my god, like it's actually kind of scary. But the difference is, I don't know if anyone here besides I think Liv and myself played Resident Evil 7.
I haven't really played any of the Resident Evil games, honestly.
Okay, that's fine.
Even like any of the Resident Evil games, because I think they're all comparable in some matter. Because I beat 4. 4 wasn't incredibly scary at all.
No.
4 was kind of a cool ass story, and also you're Leon. But then there's the one girl who yells at you.
Leon!
Yeah.
Help!
Good ass game though. Resident Evil 4 was awesome.
Yeah. So the difference in what they did for scares is in Resident Evil 7. They had very small creeping corners, especially in the houses, and they constantly had something going at you, like there was always something jumping at you to the point where it was more of like a jump scare, like oh my god, this is scary. And I found that after a while, especially after like again my 4th or 5th playthrough of the game, those scares just became so formulaic. And it just became, it's still a fun game. I love it. I love the characters. I love what's happening. I hate Evelyn. I think Evelyn's a disgustingly terrible character, unfortunately. Like, I don't think she's fun at all. I think she's just an annoying little brat, and they could have fleshed her out more, but they didn't. But besides that, I really love the game. The scares were just like constantly just going blah, blah, blah. Versus in Resident Evil 8 so far, it's more like music's creeping. You hear creak upstairs. Or you'll start hearing this one. This one got to me, and it's early in the game. And if you want to play Resident Evil 8, this isn't really spoilers. It's just everyone has seen it. There's werewolves. There's lycans in the in the game. And early on in the game, you face these lycans very fast. And it's funny that you mention it. It's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. And what happens in that scene. But what ends up happening is you're walking around, and all you start hearing is. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then you look at like you'll start seeing dust falling from your roof, and you kind of look up for a quick second, and you'll see like something scurry across. I'm like, what the fuck? You look back down to the window, you see the shoulder of something as it like scrapes by and runs. And I'm like, okay, what the shit is going on right now? I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. Because again, in Resident Evil 7, it's jump scare. This is like tension building, and it's like you're feeling it, like you're tensing up, and you're looking around. I'm like, what's going on? I don't like this. And you meet one of the villager who's still alive, and then right away, boom, from the roof, get grabbed, get pulled into the roof, blood starts plattering. I'm like, what? What is this? Then something from the bottom of the floor grabs you, pulls you down, and you get dropped in. And then you get introduced to this moment where you're walking outside when the villager gives you a handgun. And you start looking around, there are fucking lycans on the roofs everywhere, and they're just staring at you, like aggressively being like, "Oh, like we're gonna fucking kill you. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead." Right? And I'm sitting there like, "Should I shoot? Like, I don't. What's gonna happen if I shoot? Like, I don't want to shoot." I go and I aim down my sights on one of the werewolves, and they start backing away. I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like they start creeping off. Like, "Oh, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit." I do it to the other one. They start creeping off. Like, "I don't want none." I'm like, "All right, that's right, motherfucker. I'm the one with the gun. You're gonna listen to me. I'm the one in control." Fuck, I was wrong. And I start creeping up to the house to get inside, and I see this one of the werewolves drop down and start slowly circling towards me. I'm like, I got my gun point. I'm like, "Don't you fucking do this. Don't you fucking do this." He takes one more step. I'm like, "Well, fuck, what? Nothing's gonna happen. There's no way anything's gonna happen to this right now. Like, I am safe. I am in the clear. This is like a scripted scene." I shoot him in the head. He bounces back. He starts screaming. All the fucking werewolves just start coming at me left and right, jumping down, chasing me. I'm like, what have I done? This is to what you were saying about Resident Evil 4. It's that moment in the village when all the villagers start rushing you and you have to like survive for X amount of time until like the bell rings and they all fuck off. Well, it's werewolves. And these guys are destroying windows, destroying walls. Fucking, there's one Lycan that shows up with a giant fucking hammer, and he's just big and burly, and he can destroy things left and right. And it's funny enough. It's funny enough. There's moments where if you are careful and he's not, he'll swing his hammer and he'll kill a couple of werewolves by accident. Like it's that kind of shit. But you have to survive for a certain amount of time, and I didn't know this, so I was like going up the roof, shooting a couple of guys down, coming back down, hiding this way, looking for some resources, coming back up, trying to shoot, but then they start coming on the roof. I'm like, "Oh no, what do I do? What do I do?" I see there's like a crack in the floor. I go down there. I'm trying to sneak around. Now they're coming down the crack. They're following me, and there's one in front of me right here. And then I go to this roar. Anyways, it ends up being to the point where I finally get hit by one of them, and to show how scripted, like this is when the script comes in. They hit me, and I somehow get tossed into like a little stream of water, and I get surrounded by a bunch of these fucking werewolves. And one of them, and for those who may not know, Ethan Winters has been through hell already in Resident Evil 7.
You've been through the ringer, man.
This poor bastard. Okay, how can I describe this?
Do you know what happens in Resident Evil, Colin, in Resident Evil 7?
I don't know jack shit. Okay. I'm just sitting here. I have no idea what anything.
In Resident Evil 7, all right, there's a scene called the dinner scene, and before that, or even before that, your hand gets chopped off by your wife, and you lose your left hand. Yeah. At the dinner scene, it gets stapled back on, and with the power of herbs and some chem fluids, you're able to just like someone pours some chem fluids on your arm, and it comes back on, and you get your left hand back. Right.
The real reason is he's infected by this disease, but you don't know that yet.
Right. And like they describe everything what's going on and all this crazy shit. Well, in Resident Evil 8, that same hand that got cut off and stapled back on gets chewed up by a fucking werewolf, where he loses his like two of his fingers here, and like you see it in detail, man. It's like just like the bite marks, and then they ripped apart, and I'm like, can this guy not get a fucking break? Like, what is happening, right? And I'm like, oh, don't worry. I guess, if he finds his fingers back, he'll just put some fucking chem fluid on there. You're right. No, that's not what happens. He only has 3 fingers on his left hand now. And then, I'm not going to say how it happens, but he loses his right hand. In the goddamn Resident Evil 8. In 8, he loses his right hand.
3 fingers?
Dude.
3 fingers. Now he's screwed.
And like that's the tension that I'm talking about. Like when that happened, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to? What? No, no. And I'm like, you're like literally running around as if you're like as if you're running away from Mr. X from the Resident Evil 2 remake. You're running around trying to avoid this thing that's trying to get you, and then you can come back to collect your right hand and just do like the best way to describe it is like a Mega Man moment where you're like. You do that, then he puts some chem fluid on, and then it just heals back on.
Oh man, this guy! Wow,
dude, I am not kidding you when I say this. This game again, I've played about 5 hours probably altogether of this game. It's easily one of the better Resident Evil games. It's just some small details that I don't like, or like. Ethan Winters. By the end of 7, he was, I don't want to say he was a badass, but he was confident, and he was like, I'm done with this shit, like I gotta figure out what's going on. In this one, he's like still like, oh my god, what's happening? Ah! It's like, dude, okay, you've already been through so much, like you can't act like this. Also,
have a little self-respect,
yeah,
please.
and I have to shout this out right now. So they're in Europe, they're in a village where everyone speaks perfect English American dialect. No one has accents. So it's like
that's all.
Where in Europe is supposed to be?
So they don't tell you. They're very vague about where you actually are. They do the same thing in RE4, where it's like you might be in some kind of Spanish-speaking country. We don't know. They don't really say. And in 8, they're doing the same thing, where it's like you're in a country, and like by some fans decide to try to like look at the architecture of the buildings and the designs and like how they look, and like, clearly they're in Romania. Well, fuck me, dude. If they're in Romania, no one. No, that's what
people sound like in Romania, just
right? Yeah,
well, it might be
they're talking to each other's accents and stuff, and then they turn to you and they go, "Hello, my name is Steven. I'm a Romanian."
Yeah. It was this moment. I'm just like, what is happening right now? But other than that, like besides those weird little things, I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and I honestly think. By the way, it's going. I'm gonna play it again in hardcore, and then like in their madhouse mode. Just to get all the collectibles and whatnot. I think it's gonna be a blast. I love it.
I hope you get if you remember at the end, once you beat RE7 once, you get the hand cannon. You get to just tear through the house with your fucking big ass revolver. So
it's
they better give you some cool ass shit.
Oh, they will. It's Resident Evil. You know, like in RE4, you get the fucking typewriter, which is a machine gun, like a Tommy gun, or you get the infinite rocket launcher and stuff like that. Yeah,
I'd be good at that one.
Oh my God.
It's so funny though, seeing like in this latest one, they clearly have like pretty cool AI set up in place, like for those werewolves and stuff. And they have all of this, this cool story. Like they wanna put you through the ringer, give you this tension and stuff. And then we think back to a little game called Resident Evil 5. And we think about all of the dialogue in that game and all of the characters. And every time Wesker would show up, they'd be like, Wesker, and Wesker would be like, aha, I'm the evil villain, you must defeat. Yeah. Okay, so for your context, Colin, Resident Evil 1, kind of cool, weird story.
Yep.
Innovative for its time, one of the like most popular survival horror games. Looking back on it, go play it on a PS1, it's not scary at all. But at the time,
it was scary.
Yeah, that fear factor hadn't been fleshed out in games, and they did a really good job. And then they do Resident Evil 2, they give us Leon, it's kind of a cool story. Resident Evil 3, is Resident Evil 3 Jill, or is it?
It's Jill Valentine. Yeah, so RE1,
it's Jill in Raccoon City, right?
Yeah. RE1 is Chris and Jill. RE2, it's Leon and Claire. RE3 is Jill and random Umbrella Mark. 4 is just Leon and Ashley. 5 is Chris and agent from Africa. I don't know her name, unfortunately. 6 is Shiva. There you go.
Yeah. So in the third one, so basically the games are survival horror all the way up to the third. Fourth one takes that and then goes a little bit more into the action with it. There's more action set pieces, more like vehicle parts, more like defend the whatever parts. It's like going a little bit away from it, but it's also one of the better games, which is kind of...
Well, it's because they reinvented everything at that point, right? So up to RE3, and that's including Code Veronica and all that stuff, Code Veronica X and all that jazz, it was always tank controls, right? So it was literally, you had it was like...
Fixed angle.
Yes, fixed angles, fixed camera angles, and that's where they had a lot of their horror. Where it was like, you couldn't see what was around the corner. You might hear something, but you don't know what it is. Turns out it's actually 2 corners around, and you get comfortable, and something jumps out the window and spooks you, right? Well, Resident Evil 4 got more into like the Gears of War mentality, which was third person, over the shoulder. That's how you fucking play your game. And then from there, the series from 4 to 6 took that mentality. And then 7 and 8 decided to switch it over to first person perspective.
I think the fixed camera angle is what kind of put me off of the games for a long time. Every other game that has that, I've had such a difficult time trying to control the characters, and that I never have fun with it. It always takes me out of it.
If you ask any like Resident Evil fan, and you're like, they're like, I love Resident Evil 2, and it's like, oh, are you gonna go play the original? And they're like, fuck no, the remake.
Yeah.
It's the same cool story, same cool characters, all that stuff we liked, but it's third person angle. It looks better. And the thing is, like, there is some merit with the tank controls. Like, it honestly is kind of innovative because it saved a shit ton on rendering costs and stuff. Like, it made their game feel so expansive because they didn't have to. They had fixed camera angles. They could control what you actually see. And they built the horror around like that, and that was cool. And like, you know, it's just for the time, it was really cool what they were doing with it. But now going back and playing fixed cameras, it's not as smooth. But you know, we are at a point in life where we're given the you know, given the luck of having all of these advancements in games and stuff that we have the third person angle, the first person looks to it. One thing I really liked is they went back when they made the remakes of 2 and 3, which I really like that they did, and I thought that was a cool idea, is that 4, 8, they kept going with the 7 path and didn't go and like, oh, we did the remakes, everybody liked that, let's go do that in a new game. They're like, no, we got this kind of cool character idea with 7, we're going to bring it over to 8. And then there's 2 Resident Evil games, Colin, that we don't really talk about, which is 5 and 6.
Oh my god.
Which are the 5 and 6 are both kind of cool because their whole thing there was co-op. They wanted it to be a 2-person like co-op adventure thing, which is cool. But it's just its roots in Resident Evil were so god, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
And I know Justin knows for sure about the punching the boulder scene.
Fuck's sakes.
Punching the boulder scene?
Yeah, so Chris
it's such an
Redfield's
iconic scene.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's such an iconic scene that in speedruns, you don't need to do this scene, but when they do speedruns, they go and punch the boulder just because it's so funny and everybody wants you to do it.
Pretty much, Chris Redfield is Hulk Hogan. He
Yeah.
can do whatever he wants. Nothing can stop him. And there's a moment where you have to kill the main villain in Resident Evil 5, and he's in lava, and you have to move a boulder that is about the size of a Hyundai fucking Santa Fe. All right. So that thing is, it's big. So it's
I
fucking.
like how you could have said car, but you specifically went with the Santa Fe. I was like, oh, the boulder is the size of a car. It's like, oh, okay. No, it's the size of a Hyundai Santa Fe.
Well, yeah, because look, that's what we're sponsored by, all right? But this fucking boulder, the Santa Fe boulder, the Sport Edition, so you know it's sleek. Like, no one should be able to do this, to push this, let alone literally just punch it like 5 fucking times with his fist because he's so roided out and jacked out of his mind in Resident Evil 5 that he just knocks this boulder down into the fucking lava to kill the villain. It is so fucking, my mind is like blown away every time I see that scene.
So they're in a fucking volcano, and there's ash and heat and everything, and they're not affected by it. Why would they?
Yeah.
And they're walking on molten rock, and they're not affected by it. Why would they? And there's a giant fucking molten rock boulder, like, and he's just pushing it, can't push it, and he's like, and then you're spamming square, punching this rock, and that's what moves it. And it's just like, it's like, like, what happened to the original plot?
Yeah.
I can
what's
imagine
going
Hulk
on?
Hogan punching a rock now. Great.
It's so goofy, like, and then Resident Evil 6, like, nobody knows what happened in that one. Like, they just carried over Resident Evil 5, didn't really care, and then everybody was pissed, and then they're like, Resident Evil 7, everyone's like, okay, we like Resident Evil again.
Yeah, we saved it. Well, here's the thing, right? Is with, as the series progressed from 4 to 6, it ended up by doing something, and to contribute as to how it happened and why it happened, is because of the Resident Evil movies. The movies that are coming out at this time started influencing the way that games were being played for the Resident Evil franchise. Because if you remember, like, after Resident Evil 1, the film, 2 to whatever became like the super schlocky action, just over-the-top exaggeration, explosions everywhere. Like, who cares about plot at this point? People are just here to watch Mila Jovovich fucking bash zombie heads, and she's super ultra strong. Well, they took that idea from Paul W.S. Anderson and decided to just put it into the franchise because they thought that's what people wanted. Well, not the real, but the people who play the Resident Evil games, those fans didn't want that. They were okay with it for 4 because 4 had a decent mix of horror and action, But like, oh my god, 5 and 6 just it just became this schlock of like explosions. And when I say explosions, I literally mean in 6. I played it on stream like last week or the week before with one of the schmucks. And because he got me the game, he's like, you need to play this, I'm like, oh my god, fine, I'll play it. Which, by the way, the co-op you don't get to do for the first 15 minutes of the game. You have to play 15 minutes of solo play before you get to the co-op.
Yeah,
why?
You gotta be a Leon.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. Yeah, it's dumb.
Hey, here's the co-op game, but you can't play co-op for the first 15 minutes. What?
Yeah,
and it's so stupid because you have to. It does 15 minutes of the intro, and you're like, okay, it's bringing me into the characters, and then it's like, oh, but you don't have to play that story. You don't have to do Leon's story. You can do Chris's, or you can do. Was it like Jake's?
Jake Mueller, and other person I can't remember. So there's 3 or 4 storylines that are happening in 6. That's how convoluted it is. You have Leon.
They cross over though.
Yes, they do. You have Leon and new female protagonist. I can't remember her name. You have Chris and male protagonist who doesn't matter.
Pierce.
There we go.
I know that because that's the one Vincent played.
Yeah. You have Ada Wong and random dude that no one fucking cares because they didn't have a storyline. They didn't have an actual story-driven partner for Ada Wong, so she just gets a random merc. And then you get Jake Mueller, I think it's his name, and person who I think is a part of the franchise, but I just don't remember their name, who Jake Mueller ends up being Albert Wesker's son, which they've never referenced or talked about or anything.
They don't even really explain it that well in the game.
And apparently he has the cure to whatever the new virus is, but it doesn't. Why would he have the cure? Because his father hasn't been around for years. It just...
And Wesker never had the cure.
Yeah, so then why does apparently the kid's antibody somehow found a cure for the whatever virus they were on at that point. It was just... It hurt.
Random scientific mumbo jumbo. Here you go!
Yeah. Well, like, it's like the first one is like, okay... We got these characters. They're kind of like this weird organization that's, and they don't know what they're dealing with. Second one, they're like, this is just a cop whose literal first day on the job is the zombie invasion.
Yeah.
So kind of cool. 3, they're like, we're going to bring it down to one of our original characters. 4, they're like, we're going to bring it back to the fan favorite from 2. Mm-hmm. 5, they're like, okay, we're going to introduce a new character. 6, they're like, there's 5 new characters. And we have the son of the main bad guy as a character. Isn't that exciting? And everyone's like, who?
Yeah, what's happening? Why is his name Mueller then? I don't understand. Like, it's just
why are you giving him a fake
Mueller?
Yeah, right.
It's. I'm glad bringing it back around. I'm glad to see the game going to some sort of a mild, like interesting horror thing.
Yeah,
and I know there's still going to be action set pieces in that game because there was in 7, and the ones in 7 were pretty cool. Again, I think first person just suits it really well.
Yeah,
but like. I just wonder, we're going to hit Resident Evil 10 and we're going to be back around and fucking Ethan's going to be punching boulders to save people. Like,
yeah, but here's the point. Here's the difference, though. As he punches, more of his hand gets just dissolved.
Yeah, I know. He just loses his hands.
He just becomes 2 stubs. He's like, ka.
Right. He's gonna hit a game where they chop off his hand, and then he's not even gonna be faced. He's like, I'm gonna grow this back in half an hour.
Yeah,
like,
he just stares them down like Cell, and or like Pickle, and he goes, ah, and then
it just turns into Dragon Ball.
I mean, come on, dude. Like
Chris Redfield's Goku.
Dude, at this fucking point, like I like what they're doing, because even in 8, all right, so. They haven't, as far as I've seen in 8, they haven't even touched anything about the virus yet. There hasn't been any reference about a virus outbreak or anything. There's a note that I have found in RE8 where some scientist or, I don't know, doctor is talking about how a bunch of bugs start eating corpses, and now the bugs start looking like, because they form together, start looking like these people. And I'm like,
bug people,
right? Look like people, talk like bugs.
It sounds like a South Park
right?
episode.
Crab people.
Oh god!
But I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, whatever. It's Resident Evil.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like the Resident Evil games have really been too focused on explaining what happens. They just kind of, even like in the good ones, it's just like they're zombies because of this virus. It's like, well, why does the virus make them turn into centipedes?
I've been trying to piece together the plot of this series, like what the point of it is, and I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
Wesker works for Umbrella, and Umbrella is evil, but sometimes they're not, but mostly they are.
All right, here we go. So here goes. All right, I am going to try my best right now from Resident Evil 0, which there's a 0, not Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 0, all the way to Resident Evil 8. I will try my best to explain the numbered canonical story. Okay?
All right, you got 15 seconds for each game.
Okay.
You got to speed run it.
Yeah, all right. So Resident Evil 0 starts with Bravo team crashing down into the forest because they were looking for grizzly murderers. They find a dude, Billy Winters. They get on a train. Virus is controlled by the original owner of Umbrella, who is getting revenge for some dumb reason. And Albert Wesker is there, and so is some other guy. All right.
Gotcha.
Resident Evil 1. Alpha Team goes and investigates the crash that happens. Chris and Claire Redfield are the two main protagonists. They go out, they find the mansion, they find out that Albert Wesker is actually working with Umbrella, but he's actually double-crossing Umbrella to go ahead, get the virus and sell it to the highest bidder. He accidentally dies, and the Tyrant comes out.
All right, did you get that, Colin?
Sure.
All right, there we go. All right. Resident Evil 2. Leon Kennedy goes to Raccoon City as the events of RA1 is happening and shit goes bad. Claire Redfield is there to look for her brother. They find that everything's going down. They find their way to the secret labs where they find Wesker and a virus, and then they escape and the city blows up.
That was in good time. That's 13 seconds.
There you go. All right. Also, Jill Sandwich. You're right. Sandwich. Barry Jill Sandwich. I always forget that. All right. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Jill Valentine. The story takes place between Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 when she arrives at the thing because she got hurt and then she's back. She's awake. Now there's a Nemesis monster that's sent by Umbrella to find all the STARS members that are still alive and gets them all killed. She escapes the city before it explodes and Nemesis dies.
Good time.
All right. Resident Evil 4 takes several years after the events of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, where Leon S. Kennedy is now working for the Secret Services. He has to go to a Spanish-speaking country to go ahead and find the president's daughter in an area where they find out that the origin of the T-virus is actually from a parasite called the Las Plagas. They find a cult. They kill it. Ada Wong's there, steals the recipe for the T-virus.
All right. Let's take a quick break. And Colin, what is the Resident Evil about right now? Can you give me just a summary of what the game series is about?
People doing things.
All right.
The virus.
Can you name one protagonist?
Umbrella.
No, that's
Umbrella.
What? No, that's the antagonists. What are you doing?
All right, this is all
Leon.
Leon, fine.
Leon.
Help! All right, I'm gonna quiz you again, Colin. So pay attention for the last half.
All right, Resident Evil 5. Here we go. Resident Evil 5 stars Chris Redfield and Shiva while they're in Africa because there's a new bioterrorism company there that's out there with the virus and the Las Plagas that create these crazy monster stuff. Chris finds out that Wesker's alive. Jill got captured by Wesker, turned evil. Jill gets rescued. They kill Wesker with a giant boulder and lava.
Good job.
Okay.
Right, Resident Evil 6.
No one fucking cares.
That's fair. We can skip that. We can completely skip that.
All right. Resident Evil 7, here we go. Ethan Winters thinks his wife's dead because she was on a babysitting thing. She gets lost in Louisiana and dies, but it turns out she's been kidnapped by the Bakers, who are controlled by this little bitch named Evelyn, who's a piece of shit character, and I hate her. And then Ethan goes to Louisiana to find her and rescues her, and then Chris is also there at the end to save the day.
All right, and then briefly synopsis of Resident Evil 8, no spoilers.
Ethan Winters is out to go look for his daughter in a Romanian-esque country, and we don't know what's going on yet, but there is a big lady that'll step on you.
All right. Okay, Colin.
Yeah.
Which protagonist was turned evil in Resident Evil 5?
Oh my fucking...
Colin he mentioned it.
Yeah, you're right. He mentioned it, but I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. I couldn't fucking tell you. For the life of me.
Can you answer that question?
Are we talking about Leon?
No. Oh my god.
It's
Name
Jill Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite character, Evelyn?
No.
No, I hate Evelyn. Evelyn is one of the worst. She's up there with stupid bad villains.
One detail that I remembered. It was like, oh, he hates Evelyn. Okay.
All right, and Colin, last final question: who has Big Mommy Milkers?
I remember the fucking Lady D.
There you go. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Colin aced it. That was the only question that mattered.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I have one bonus question. Colin and Michael, what's a Jill sandwich?
Oh, they're not gonna know this.
What is it? Jill between two zombies or what?
No. There's
a me between these boobs.
No. There's a scene in RE1 in the original one where you pick up a shotgun and then you leave a room and then the adjacent room that you're in starts coming down and tries to crush you. And a character in there named Barry, and in the original one, every time Jill would call Barry, she would just go, Barry! Barry, help me! Barry! It was like that. Anyways, as this room is descending to crush the ceiling, trying to crush you, Barry opens the door, grabs Jill, and pulls her out. And it's this famous quote, and every RE fan knows it, where it's like, oh, that was a close one, Jill. You almost became a delicious Jill sandwich. And she just goes, oh, Barry, and that's the fucking joke. So
they're like in a murder mansion,
yes,
and like people are dying and shit. They're finding zombies, all this shit, and then the entire game, Barry's like, "Oh my god, this is real spooky." And he's like, acting is so bad.
It's terrible.
You almost became a Jill sandwich.
Oh my
like,
god,
that's hilarious.
And then
meanwhile, you got Chris Redfield, who's like, "I'm on a mission. I gotta take down Wesker."
Yeah. And so in the remaster of RE1, I was playing it on stream, and I wanted the Jill sandwich moment so fucking hard. I was so excited for it, but I fucked up. I was playing for 3 hours, and I was getting there. And the way that I fucked up is you're supposed to go get the shotgun, the thing comes down, and then Barry saves you. But if you go meet with Barry in the main hall before you do that, you don't get that scene at all. That scene never happens. And instead you get like extra ammo or something, and that's it, and you don't get the shotgun right away. And I got so fucking mad that happened. I'm like, fuck this. You know what? Here's what we're doing. I literally pulled it up on stream, like youtube.com, Jill sandwich, enter. And then we got the cutscene. I'm like, this is what I wanted to show you because it's so fucking funny. Yeah.
Isn't it funny, guys?
Yeah.
And it's just this dude saying Jill sandwich, and everyone's like, I don't understand the joke. And you're like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
What's not the game?
It's also why when I play Resident Evil games right now, randomly, like Will or Camp, whoever's been around, they'll just write like Jill sandwich, and I'll go, Barry, help me, Jill sandwich, Barry, Jill sandwich.
I was watching, and you guys started making those jokes, and I was sitting there like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? I was clueless.
Yeah,
it's so funny too because like they actually built Jill as like a really badass character, and she's doing so much shit, like basically carrying the whole Stars team because they're all such fuck ups. Yeah. But then as soon as she needs help, she's like, Barry, please. And then it's like Jill on her own. She's like fucking gunning dudes down. But then as soon as it's a cutscene, she like. As soon as a man, it's
as soon as a man's there, she's like, oh, I can't do anything. Help me, Chris, Barry, put me in a sandwich.
And then Jill's on her own, and she's like,
right.
I fuck it. And then Resident Evil 3, they're like, we're gonna let her just have her own game to be awesome, and it's like, okay, thank you.
And so they did that with her in a couple of ones. They did that with obviously Resident Evil Nemesis. And they also had Resident Evil Revelations, which are canonical but not mentioned in the main stories of Jill and Chris working together still. It's like the lead up before Resident Evil 5, roughly. I believe it's what those are. But yeah, that's kind of the Resident Evil lore, and that's where we're at right now. I think the game's got a lot of promise, and I can't wait for it. Let's see what more I'm going to do.
Also, they retcon all of the coolness of Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 5 by making it that she just very easily got brain controlled and made her put her in a bodysuit and shit.
Yeah. Oh, a skin-tight bodysuit, which then her, like, it was, like, accentuated to, like, no belief, man. Oh, my God.
A lot of people's favorite character is this, like, badass, like, cop girl. And then it's like, but she got brainwashed, and now she has to wear a sexy suit and work for the bad guy. And it's like, the fuck, man? What the hell?
Again, this is during the time where Capcom was just like, oh, it's sex appeal, sex appeal, sex appeal. That's how we get the boys. Yeah.
Capcom's making some
boys.
Well, I mean, look, remember, this is back in the day. Even then, it's not that far back, but like, back in 2005, where a lot of people didn't think that video games were for everyone. It was like it was a boys' club kind of mentality.
Yeah, it was like really edgy.
Yeah.
But it was though. Video games are like this edgy dudes only thing.
Yeah.
And like at the same time,
Gamers rise
like,
up.
It's so stupid. Games were never like. I think but I mean, I feel like it's always had that weird motif of like it's for dudes only. It's a dudes club, all that shit. Where it's like it's like any hobby, right? Anybody can fucking do it, and like the fact that you're putting a gender bias on it is like it comes from nowhere. There's no video game company that's like, I'm making this game for men only. They're like, I'm making a game that people are going to enjoy playing because it's a video game. You know? Like that happens in every realm of things, though, right? Like,
but we're now
thing.
We're now thankfully in this world in 2021, even though we're still in a pandemic and it sucks. But at least for video games now, they've at one point they kind of also did the reverse sexism, where like all the dudes were like, Marcus Phoenix, fucking super jacked, small heads, big biceps, and big pecs and stuff. And kids are like, how am I supposed to achieve that? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not physically possible. You can't do that. Yeah, but like we're now at this moment where it's like when you look at again, just to pull Resident Evil, you look at Chris Redfield in RE5 and 6, and then you look at him in 7. Chris in 7 is like a sleek, in shape dude.
Right. He looks like a person.
Yes, he does. And like even like the female protagonist Mia, she's a slender and not like giant, robust woman. She's just a slender lady who you see in the games. And like you have the Marguerite character where she looks more like a normal mom when she's not a giant bug creature. Or at that point she looks like my mother. That's just how it is. Oh god. But wow. It is these moments of like, now we're in this world where you can get an 8 foot tall lady, or you can get a little like 3 foot nothing dude, or you get the new merchant in RE8. His name is Duke, and he's 500, 600 pounds, and he looks like a big baby. But you're like, fuck it, dude, this guy's cool. Let's go with it.
Well, I like the idea of like exploring different body types and stuff. It's a very human thing, because I noticed one thing when you look at a lot of like video games about like, it's like it's an elite group of like super special agents and stuff like that. And then you look at their body types, and like a lot of the times the body types are all crazy jacked dudes and like model like women. Yeah. But then when you look at professional athletes, especially like female professional athletes, there's a lot of variation in body type and body size and stuff. And like there's a lot of like different stuff. So like a character who it's controversial for me to like, because there's a valid reason to dislike her and an invalid reason to dislike her, and that is Abby from Last of Us 2. And I like Abby. She's stockier and she's built and she's got muscle, and she beats the fuck out of zombies. Like most people, like Ellie uses a pocket knife because that makes sense. That's more Ellie. Yeah. But Abby punches them, straight up beats the shit out of them because she's jacked, and it's awesome. And some people were hating her because she wasn't the stereotypical, like, this is what I want in a female character. She was a realistic, what, someone who's focusing on being strong for the apocalypse would look like. And then there's a very valid reason for disliking her for what she does in the beginning of the game, which I don't know if I want to spoil for anyone. But
dude, at this point, it's months
been a
away.
while. But Last of Us 2 was a really good game too. I know this is crazy off topic, but I think there is like that game for me was I liked all the characters so much, and they all felt like people to me, not only in look but in like the way they acted too. Like I find that video games sometimes like to accentuize. Or is accentuate a word? Like make, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it likes to highlight, again, like the hyper what you should be. Somebody like male video game characters are always super jacked dudes that can't do any wrong and all this stuff. But like, but when you break away from that mold and you say, hey, my video game character is a person that's going to make mistakes, they're going to look like a person, their body's going to be tested. It's always a more enjoyable experience for me. The only maybe exception is in an RPG where you get to make your character, then you get to define which character you're going to be. Like,
and then if you're walking around with giant knockers and you're like, okay, Like, come on. Yeah. You
I've
can't
made
blame
the
the video
right
game
choice.
on this point. It's not because, like, well, I had the option. Like, shut up. No, shut the fuck up. You don't get to say
They're
that.
gonna be like,
No, they have the drag on the ground. Come on.
Yeah.
But like, I love though in like those RPGs though, like there isn't the realism is start out the window because you make a small, really skinny dude, but you jack up his strength stats, so he's running around with a giant rebar club.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know my physique doesn't show it, but I'm stronger than anyone fucking here.
In the Conan or RPG, you can change his dong size. Your character's dick size.
Yeah.
You can.
Cyberpunk, baby.
Like freaking huge, just sticking out of your pants. No big deal.
But yeah, Cyberpunk, that's right. I forgot Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk tried to be inclusive in the idea where it's like you can change the genital size or no genital at all, like at all, if you know that's how you identify yourself as. So they were trying to do something right there. Conan, for the Conan game, it's just like, fuck it, this is it. Look at it. Look at it. And it's like, come on, man.
I remember playing that for the first time, and I didn't know that was a feature. And I'm customizing my dude, and I'm like, I got his hair, physique. I don't want to. I kind of just made him look like Jesus because I feel like that's what you do when you play the Conan game. But I was like, all right, looks good. I'm like doing physique and stuff, and it's like boom donger, and it's like, what size dick you want? I'm like, well, I wasn't ready to answer this question.
This is a personal question. I don't think I'm ready for this.
Fully kit this out, and they're like, what shade do you want? Do you want to add mods? Do you want to?
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, but a game that we can all agree that has actually awesome inclusivity is Apex Legends. The legends, all the legends in that game, like you have people who are missing arms or they're bionic. You have people of different sizes and ethnicity, like non-stop, which I think is actually pretty fucking cool. I love Gibby. I make fun of him all the time, but I love him because early on, all of his voice lines were like, "I'm reloading, brother. Over there, brother. We're gonna attack, brother. Shielding, brother. Fucking
don't worry, brother. Gibby's got your back."
Yeah. It's just everything was brother. And I get it in that culture, in the Samoan culture, or in the there's another term.
Polynesian.
Thank you. Like from the people from like Kiwis and all that. They talk like that, which is fine, but they don't say brother every single word. It's like Canadians don't say a all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Dwayne Johnson and Hobbs and Shaw. Uso.
Uso. Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, it's not always like that. But the reason why I bring up Apex Legends, is they have the new arena mode that came out this week, Tuesday, from what Will was saying in the chat. And this new mode, for people who don't know, it's a 3v3, so 3 legends versus 3 legends, in a small arena type battle. So like literally the bubble, the circle that you start in is very, very small. It does continue to shrink if you don't kill everyone after a certain period of time. And you still have all your abilities. It has the CSGO Valorant buy menu system.
Yeah.
Where you can pick your gun, your grenades, how many stim packs you want, and all that jazz. Kind of a cool feature is you don't get your ult right away. You have to buy your ult, and you can only do it once throughout the entire match, as far as I could tell.
Some alts you can buy, but you need to wait a round to buy it. So if you buy it, you gotta wait around, and then the next round you can get it again.
Okay, yeah. So like I know for like Bangalore, I'm pretty sure Bangalore is a one-time use. Like you buy it and then that's it.
It could be. I know that alts also have different values inherent to them. A Bangalore alt is going to be better in this game mode than an Octane alt. So an Octane alt's like 200 crafting materials. A Bangalore alt's like 500.
Yeah. But
so it could be that. It would make sense if it was. I'm not sure.
Well, because you imagine every round you're just throwing a fucking alt, like you're throwing the Bangalore alt, like the moment,
striking them.
right? Like round 1, you don't even buy a pistol or anything because you get a free pistol. You just get your alt and just launch it at people. Like, god damn it, dude. But yeah, I played it last night. Colin, you've been playing on stream quite a bit. Lib, have you had a chance to try it?
I've played a bunch with. I really only play it with when I have 2 friends to play it, because like Apex, like as the battle royale on its own, I'll sometimes play it on my own just to get a gun, frag out, you get some fun fights, whatever. But if like having to 1v3 for an entire 6, 10 round or 9 round game, I'm like, no, I'm waiting till I have friends so I can have some sort of coordination with this. At least for the most part, I don't want to constantly blame other people
for your mistakes.
Yeah, but I've had a lot of fun with it though. I think it's a good way to try out stuff to work on your gun skill, I think it's a really easy way to do that because you're constantly getting to use like an R301 or something like that. I will say the funniest thing about this game mode is my brother. I love him to death, Sinjin.
Okay, all right. That's always a good way. That's always a good way to start the conversation.
he is probably out of me. I usually play with like me, my buddy Logan, my buddy Dan, or Sinjin. Like those are the 4 people we play with. And Sinjin, he isn't the most clutch man in the world when it comes to the battle royale.
Oh,
Nice.
Because I mean, me and my other friends, we play it more than him, so he doesn't play it as much. But for whatever fucking reason, when we go into arena, he gets a bow every single round, and he fucking clutches up. He turns into fucking Hawkeye as soon as me and Logan are both down and Sinjin's the last alive. One time, I swear to God, I saw him slide around a corner, headshot somebody, and then we're like, oh shit, and he's like, last one's up top, and he's just like, got him, fucking headshot him, won the round, and we're just like, Sinjin, what are you doing? He's like, I'm crazy with the bow. And then we go into a battle royale, he picks up the bow, and he's just like, I can't hit anything, I'm sorry.
Do you know why? It's the environment, right? It is such a much smaller environment. You don't have to worry about people, 3 other teams coming to fucking gank you on each side against third party. It's literally 3v3. That is it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, there's a lot less to think about while you're playing that game mode, and it, in my mind, is a lot more competitive. I absolutely fucking love it. This is the reason why I'm getting back into Apex right now, is because of that game mode.
What do you think, Colin?
I'm kind of the opposite because I'm a bigger fan of the battle royale than I am of arena mode, because I really enjoy kind of being able to take things at my own pace instead of just being thrown in, fight, kill, die. Like thrown in, fight, kill, die. I've always been drawn to Apex and other battle royales because I can chill with it. I can go down. I can kind of skirt away from everyone else, do some looting, and if I feel like getting in a fight, I can start rushing. And if not, I can leave it alone and then clean up when they're done.
Mm-hmm. See, and I think that's a good part of why they put in this game mode is that it's for different types of people. Like it's like for a lot of, like, Colin probably tried it out and thought, I'm more into the battle royale. I like the pacing a bit better than that, and that's valid. They're like, okay, go ahead, play the battle royale then. But if you're like, I want a little bit more, I want that octane action, I want to be dying more often, getting into those fights right away, then I know personally I'm a big fan of it because I feel like if you're into Apex Legends, you complain whenever you get third-partied because that's all that game is. You never get a fair 1v1 fight. You're always getting jumped by another team. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, if you think you're so good, then go in here. There's nobody to third-party you. You just got to fight this team 1v1. And it's, and I've been having varying success with it. Like with most competitive games, there's some games you stomp, some games you get stomped, and then some games that are really competitive go tooth and nail to the very end. And usually those are the most fun ones. But I find this game mode's it's like a test your. It's almost like test your 1v1 ability. It's like if you want to prove that you're this good fighter in these 1v1 team fights, it's like go ahead and try it out. Like this is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of how I see it.
So with me, it's kind of so like in chat right now, Will is saying what he believes, because he's taking Colin's side on this one. He thinks that arena plays more towards the aggro fighters, and then BR plays towards the Colin and I strategize and move around, sneak, and guerrilla playstyle.
Exactly.
I see. I don't think it's for arenas is built for the aggro players. I honestly feel like the way that I play, again, because this is my siege mentality. This is how I play my multiplayer games now. It's more of the, all right, how do we do this? All right, what's the team comp? All right, well, a good team comp is Bloodhound, Bangalore, and a Lifeline, or a Gibby because of a shield and stuff. Like, all right, let's go out. All right, we know they're gonna push middle. Boom, throw your smoke, blind them. You're gonna go this way, trap them. 2 people are always together. Go grab the resources. Okay, we got the resources. No matter what, we got something for next round. It's like if you have a decent IGL in-game leader, you can kind of control the pace of the game. You can, and if you have that communication, like, all right, there's 2 over there. One's got knocked. This guy's coming around the bridge. Let's go. Watch out for that. Let's go. And like push. Like if you have that, oh my god, I find this game it's amazing. Then there are people.
I agree.
And then there are people like that. What Will is talking about, and again, this is specifically in arenas. Pimp of Games, Nick. I played with him last night. He is the aggro player. He is, and I called him out on it, and he admitted it. He's a selfish player. Well, like he just runs out and tries to frag out. But it's like, okay, cool. Here's the problem with that. You go out, you get frag. If you frag, cool, you fragged out. If you don't, you're now down or dead. You've now made it a 3v2, and we don't have your utility. We don't have your ult. We don't have the ability of you to give me a shield if I need it, or a health pack, or anything like that. You're now gone. And it's like, well, how does that help us? Oh, it doesn't. And then we just down, we get frustrated. Fuck, that's dumb. I hate that. Like
So you're probably the smarter one, because there's Liberty, the aggressive one. There's me, the more laid back one. And I think you're going to be in the smart one because you're the actual tactical. You're actually thinking about things beforehand. You're trying to like build your squad and think about how to best use everyone's ability. You're the actual five-head gamer here.
I think that narratively, though, I think that a big difference between an arena and the actual battle royale, though, is resource management. Because you only have a blank amount of crafting materials, you only have blank amount of ability uses, you only have whatever. So I think that battle royale, you get a little aggro, something like that, someone goes down, it's like, okay, my race alt is up and like whatever. We got smokes, so we're gonna go. We're gonna smoke. I'm gonna wraith alt, grab you. We're gonna get out, try and do something. Whereas in the arena mode, it's like, oh shit, I went down. It's like, oh, I didn't buy wraith alt this round, so I can't alt you out. And we've already used our 2 smokes, so like you're screwed. So it's like a lot of it's very Counter-Strike-ish of like, okay, you buy smokes, I'm gonna get this. Like you push up top. I know even when me and my buddies played, it's like. St. John's literally, he usually goes, I'm going to grab a sniper or the bow. I'm going to go up top. Me and Logan, we're going to go run, grab crafting materials and medical stuff. And then we're kind of spread around the map, but we're going to converge at one area and kind of defend. And then we got high ground, but we also went and got mats and like whatever. Like it is like a weird tactics game. Like it's like very, I would say maybe not to the degree of like, Rainbow Six and stuff, because Rainbow Six has very specific stuff set in play of like countermeasures and counterattacking and stuff like that. It's like this niche little like playground Rainbow Six, like where it's like you have all this stuff to use, but really you can use it in so many different ways that like you can really do some cool strategy stuff like that. Like I think it's like a fun way to try tactics and stuff like that. But when you look at the battle royale is a little bit more, at least for me, chaotic. Again, I'm a very aggro player. So in that chaos, I kind of thrive. That chaos isn't as much a thing in arena mode, because if you go down somebody on the other enemy team in arena mode, you usually just try and follow up and get the rest of the team. Yeah. But in Battle Royale, you can get pushed from the back. They can get pushed from another team. Airstrike can come in from another. Like it's like chaos, and then there's like organized. And I think that I like both for 2 different reasons. And one being I like the chaos of a battle royale, but also the ability to play laid back. And I like the tactics in the organization of arena.
Well, I get that. Another thing you can do for organization, to keep yourself organized, see what's going on, all things SSN, is a message from a sponsor. All right, that was a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, guess what? We're sponsored by us. We're still by us. Just a reminder for everyone who is joining us, who will be listening to this down the road. This episode of the SSN podcast is sponsored by us, Select Star Network. If you like what we do, if you like what you hear, awesome, thank you. If you want to support us, it's super simple. You go to patreon.com/SelectStarNetwork. Look at the tier list, pick which whenever you want. If you want to hear this live, uncut, raw, with the post show, 10% discount and whatnot, you can simply go ahead and sign up for the live and uncut tier, which is at $11.50, I believe, or $11.20 US, $15.50 Canadian. Unfortunately, that's how it is. If you can't afford that, if it's only a couple of bucks, that's fine. You can go all the way down to the $1.20 tier, $2 Canadian. That's a medium size, fucking cup of Joe from Tim Hortons. If you're a gross person like that, that's totally fine. If you can't, go ahead and support us that way. That's cool. All you got to do is share, like, subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on our Twitch account. All of us separate, all that jazz. We love you for it. Thank you so much. And I think that's going to be the end of this one. That's the fastest ad read I've ever done. Yes, we're also sponsored by Hyundai. The Boulder Santa Fe. Yeah. But yeah, no, it is funny though, because like this game mode is making me want to come back to Apex and play the BR style stuff. Like I am intrigued. I wanted to go back and try it out. Excuse me. And try to figure out if I want to play it again. Because like besides this, I would play a little bit of Apex here and there, maybe with Will when Will was on. But now it's like, yeah, I'll jump on and I'll play this on stream and I'll enjoy myself. And then maybe I will try to go for it. But it's the BR aspect has the one thing that I hate, which is 2 of them. And I've played this style. the slugs who fucking just play the rim of the circle the entire time and just don't get kills. They don't do anything. They just fucking push with the circle. They push with the circle. And then, it's the final 3. Then they come out and just like, oh, this guy's hurt. Dead. Okay, I'm done. I win. Oh, is that you? Is that you? Is that you, Colin? Is that fucking you?
Legitimate strategy.
You fucking slug. You fucking slug.
I would rather go around the edge and avoid the fighting for the entire time and get second than run in and die and get 19th. I would rather do that every fucking time.
I will admit,
I think it's very obvious what my team is. My team runs Wraith, Octane, and Revenant, and we pick anything. We pick a fight with anything that looks like it could be a person. We see somebody, we're alting onto them, and we're just fucking gutting. That's my squad. We don't care about winning. We want to try and get kills, and then we push that to a win if we can.
Okay.
Yeah, have fun in 15th.
I do have fun in 15th until like 2 games later when our team has like 30 kills and we're first place, and then we feel good.
Dude, when I see the fucking champion crew, whatever, these are your champions, and it's motherfucker that is 1 kill. And I'm like, you piece of shit. You literally waited this entire time. And the only or the funniest ones when I see zeros across the board, and it's just because they pressured people outside of the circle. I'm like, you're the worst. Like you're just the fucking worst.
It works. They won. You
Look, again, I get it. It just sucks. And then there's the other aspect of the BR games that I don't like, which is the you just get outplayed. You get outlucked. You land here, you grab a gun, you grab a level 1 armor. Oh, the guy you just like right next to you, they got the gold armor. And it's like, what do I do with this? And that unfortunately happens that happens too often with me.
I will say though, the one thing from playing Apex, which the last season of Apex, I played a shit ton of. I played a ton of that season. Is that I for a while I would blame bad positioning on like the circle pushing me, whatever. But then I realized I'm like, we got to be the ones that are getting the good positioning. So now, like again, my team is still aggro as shit. Again, love my brother and my friends, but they're all unleashed dogs that will go and fight anything they see. I do the same thing. It's how we play. But like a lot of times, like when it gets down to the crunch time, like final 4, final 3, and the circles are getting real small, this is like, it's like the most tactical we play. We're all like, we're making call-outs like crazy. We're trying to get the circle positioning and stuff. But like, I really like that the battle royale, like, and I feel like Apex specifically, there isn't necessarily like, there is a meta of like good characters. There definitely is. But the play styles and how people are bringing characters and playing the characters, it's always changing. And it's like, I do appreciate that there can be a game where Colin can go in, play, quieter and pick up loot and clean up fights, stuff like that. And in that same game, I can go and try and become Frag City. And whether we win or lose, he could get picked off by a team that sees him. I could go into a fight and die right away, or he could make it to the very end. I could make it to the very end.
Yeah.
There's so many factors, so many things that come to play that I like that versatility. Mm-hmm. I agree, though, that it can be frustrating sometimes, like less about like the rats. Like for me, ratting's a part of the game. There was one time where me and my friends got bored and we did supreme rat strats where we went Revenant, Crypto, and Bloodhound. And we would just try and get the circle things with the crypto drone and hide out until the final circle. We would avoid fights. We wouldn't pick a single fight until the end. And we got 2 wins off of that. So it works. Ratting is a strategy.
You fucking rat packs. Oh my god.
But for me, it's more about the Apex. The maps are so small and the gun noise is so loud that you can barely finish a fight before another one's jumping up on you. And even though I do like that, it's like, it's frustrating when you don't even have time to heal. You're cleaning up a fight, there's one guy left, and then you get sniped in the back, and you're like, okay, great. So I did everything right, and then I got sniped in the back. It's like, it's frustrating, but it's also, it's frustrating, but it's what I like about it. And I think that's kind of like, it's what keeps me in and what draws me away from it, is that it frustrates me, but fuck do I want to play it,
Yeah.
Okay. To kind of segue, though, I have a question. I want to know your guys' opinions on the new character, Valkyrie.
I haven't played her yet. I got her. No. I can't, because every time I load up the game and I go play with friends, certain individuals, not Will, so don't worry, Will, you're in the clear. But other individuals will just automatically like hard lock Val.
They want the Valkyrie,
and I'm like, oh, come on, man! Like you like, and again in arena, it's like she's not the best in arena. She's kind of okay at. Maybe.
She's like, yeah, you can scout with the jetpacks. That's about it.
And like that like flurry of missiles is cool, but it doesn't
hit very often.
Yeah.
Battle Royale, it's much better because it's on a cooldown. You don't have one use of it.
Yeah,
I the flurry of missiles isn't good for. It's more just kind of like a shock and awe thing, just to like set off a bunch of explosions, a bunch of lights while you're either making an escape or go around to the other side of people or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's not a high damage ability. It's more a stun.
Yeah. So I think she's gonna be a lot of fun in the BR set. Also, the idea that they can like fucking attach your teammates to your jetpacks. You can literally like team rocket off and then land somewhere else. I think it's kind of cool. I like that idea.
I haven't done that yet. So I have the chance to do that yet.
Well, yeah, no, I think it's gonna be cool. Now, okay, to segue off of your thing, talk about the arena thing real quick. I want to say this right now. I absolutely hate the artillery map on arena. The one,
it's kind of dookie.
It's just fucking. It's long range sniping the entire time, and I fucking hate it. That's every match that I played. It was always you had one or two snipers that would just sit far away and just try to pick you off, and you'd have the one guy that would try to sneak around and get, or just you'd have everyone just distance fighting, and I hate. That's the one. Even in BRs, that's the one thing PUBG was known for, and I fucking hate it. It's just snipe fights. I find them so boring.
PUBG was a sniper's game.
Oh my god, dude, I hated it. I hated it. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped playing that fucking game. Now, Michael, I know you've been quiet this whole time. Would you be willing to finally try Apex Legends? It's free, and there is an arena mode now, so it's not just the BR. Because I know you're not the biggest BR fan.
It's not so much that I don't know. I was gonna try it. What was that? 2 weeks ago, and then I just got so distracted because my big thing is I don't like the idea of putting me in a box. Right? I like sandbox. Okay, so I like to be able to do. There's not just one base, one little circle. There's a whole bunch of circles that I can go around. Like that's like PlanetSide 2. That's the game I play mostly. Okay, right? So it's a huge map. It's 64 kilometers by 64 kilometers. Okay, and there's all these bases everywhere, and it's literally just a war. So if I'm trying to take this base, I can go this way or this way or this way, or I can drop on top of it, right? And I do the same thing though. So the one thing that you guys are talking about that really intrigues me about Apex is the tactical play. I'm a big tactical player, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I made my community that I have, which is Buzz Tier, right? It's all about tactically playing as a team. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do in that game is when we drop together and we make callouts, we have a squad comp, we make sure we have that balance, use those tactical equipment, and all that stuff. And it's not like, oh, I have a special character or anything like that. But we have certain classes, which is kind of the same thing, right? Okay. So I always make sure that I have a certain amount of medics, certain amount of engineers, because they allow me to have ammo and all this stuff. So I think in that regards, I would definitely be for trying Apex more, because that's what appeals to me is when you start talking about tactics. And again, the Battle Royale sounds more like my thing, because it looks like it's a bigger, or it sounds like it's a bigger area, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's bigger maps. It's not. What's nice about the BR aspect in Apex, it's not a massive map like a PUBG or Warzone. It's like it's a good mid-sized map, I'd say. It fits perfectly because it's also not 100 people on one map. It's what, 60, right? Like that's the biggest number.
Lots of fights in Apex.
If you're a dirty little slugger rat, you can squirm around. Love you, baby. But again, I've done that strat myself too, so like I get it.
But it's all the same stuff happens in PlanetSide too. It's just on a much bigger scale, and it's a lot more chaotic because there's not just these are the doors or ways you can go. It doesn't just get smaller. It's like here it is. People can come in with these freaking liberators and blast you from the sky. You can do nothing about it, and then when you do, they could be nowhere around, and then a tank runs you over, right? Like, but then you can also be like in those situations where you're outnumbered, but you're still holding the point, and you're just wrecking everybody's face.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of cool.
So and that's what I love about it. And it's the thing about PlanetSide 2 is it's not at all a sniper kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. You can be a sniper and do pretty good. But honestly, in my opinion, you can snipe me, go right ahead, but I can get revived easy like that, right? So it doesn't phase you when I get sniped, because the big thing is it's all about close to mid-range fights and actually having these back and forth and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, okay, sometimes you get wiped, but that's just going to happen, right?
That's any game, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, my thing is the biggest appeal for any game for me is having a good team and having that consistency of that good team.
You can definitely have that in Apex, but I find that even in Apex, you can do the right calls, make the right plays, all that stuff in the Battle Royale mode, and it still just might, you can flop. You can do a really organized push, and then just, you weren't expecting a team to come through this little corridor, and they came through and cleaned you up, and it's like,
you get organized.
That's exactly like in PlanetSide 2, because it's a three-way war, right? So there's three factions.
Better than you.
There's three factions in this game, right? So there's always going to be a three-way war. So you're always playing, somebody gets double teamed essentially at some point, right? But you can have it where these guys, you're on the opposite side of the map, so you shouldn't see any of these other guys, but they just bring a tank column all the way around just to mess with you, right? So you get that kind of, freaking idiots. Well, like, what are you doing over here? You just killed the fight. But that's the thing. Any game where I can, even in those moments, still want to play, that's a game worth playing, right?
That's fair.
And PlanetSide 2 is free to play too, so it's like I'm not spending any money. But yeah, no, I've been interested in playing Apex. That's why I downloaded it. But I just haven't had, because my thing is I like playing, especially the first time around I play anything nowadays. I like playing with people that I know-ish. To get into it a little bit, right? So we'll see. I might try.
Well, again, since
I was planning on next month, after this month of me playing WoW or World of Warships, doing Apex. So
there you go. And like you'll be fortunate enough. There's a bunch of people in the community that do play it. Depending on what happens next month, I might be free to jump on some games with you too. If you want to have someone that to play with you. I know Will is always
perhaps a rat as well, if you would like,
or an aggro motherfucker.
See, the thing is, Justin's gonna go run in and die, and Colin's gonna be nice and comfy sitting where he is.
I don't run and gun. I don't run. I'm the mix of both. Where like I'll engage fights and I get the armor, and it's cool. But it's like, all right, we're good, we're set up, and I just hear wrestle. I'm like, what the fuck's that behind me? And there's Colin in his fucking master speed. Boom! And then he wins. And I'm like, oh, come on! I killed 30 people! I laid waste to everyone!
No, I'm definitely a running gunner, so I know I'd be freaking 19th, 15th every time.
That's why you, Brady, and Pimp are the worst teammates in Siege. You three are the fucking worst for that. Because you motherfuckers, it's like, all right, it's simple. We're going to hold this angle. Or like, we just need one anchor. You guys can roam, but don't go too far. Brady, specifically, I love you, Brady, but fucking motherfucker. And Michael will just be like, okay. And then they're like, the opposite side of the world. It's like, okay, well, we're getting pushed. It's now a 2v4. Where are you? Oh, I'm hiding in this corner waiting for them to come by. It's like, no! They're all coming to sight! What are you doing? Like, oh.
No, I gotta find them, kill them. Like, hello.
I'm a man with a plan. I got an idea, and then the plan ends up being him trying to 1v5 their team on site that they have.
Because I'm like, why didn't I kill any of them? Or kill them all?
And since
I can't say anything. I was a Zofia Vigil main when I was playing Rainbow.
But yeah, like the new
playing for the guns.
Yeah, so the new game mode is kind of like more in. For those who don't know, I'm going to talk this very briefly because we said we're going to talk about it. It's called Apocalypse. It's on Outback, and basically it's a Mad Max vibe. I think the skins look really cool. That's why I got it. I got the whole skin pack. I think they really look cool. But yeah, it's basically you're protecting a plant as a defender, and you can actually move the objective anywhere you want on map. And the attackers have to go and find the plant and like still not defuse it, but like capture it with the little diffuser device. And you can set up like these security stations or this sensor stations all around the map, where you go to a panel as an attacker, you activate that, and if a defender walks across that area, either they get pinged or they get slowed down or whatever, but their notification gets sent out that there's someone there. And it's this really cool idea where it's like, okay, we can grab the objective. We're starting in laundry. We can rotate it all the way down to convenience if we want. Cool, that's awesome. What happens? And because you can't reinforce, the match starts right away and people are pushing. Like, there's no reinforcements, there's none of that shit. So it's like you grab the bomb and you can run, or you can keep the bomb there and defend. But then what happens is there's these fucking assholes, Brady, Michael, I'm sure you'd be one of them, who will just run away and just like try to go for frags. And it's like, okay, well, everyone's pushing together right now as the attackers because they have to. You're one man. You might get one pick. And it's like, oh, I got the Ash. Cool, I'm the best. It's like, yeah, but there's still Lion. There's still Dokaibi. There's still Finka. All these people who are problems for us, who are trying to protect this fucking thing. And they're all gone. And they're all gone. And it's just, it drives me nuts. Like, I like the game mode because I do like the idea of like, oh, they're pushing us. We can't get the fuck, like, we have to get the fuck out of here. Pick up the plant, blow a hole in the floor of the hatch, and then run away. And you can do that, and it's awesome. Right, to make it the last.
Grab the plant, boys. We out of here.
Like it's cool. It's really it's very unique, and I think it's a fun way to play Outback because a lot of people don't like Outback. They absolutely hate the map, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Unfortunately, the people that I play with, not all of them, a few of them, Brady. I'm also doing this because Brady said that he listens to the podcast, and I want him to call me out the fact that I keep calling him out, Brady. Talk to me in Discord, Brady, to prove to me that you're actually listening to the podcast, Brady. All right, that's enough of that. But
Brady,
but yeah, I think it could be fun, but it's just frustrating overall for that game mode. I don't think anyone else has tried it yet, have they?
No, I haven't been playing a whole lot of Rainbow lately, so hasn't been on my mind. Might though. It sounds kind of fun. Like I might give it a shot. I know I updated my game, so.
Larson, I can honestly say the last time I played Rainbow Six Siege was the time I played it with you guys in person.
Like
2 years ago.
Dude, that was fun.
The last time that was fun.
That was fun. Oh my god. But yeah. All right, we're almost at time. I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about, we're gonna make it the post show mechanic discussion. So everyone who is on the live and uncut tier, stick around. We're about to enter a post show. For those who are not a part of it, thank you so much for joining us. This has been the SSN podcast. I want to thank as always, Lib, Colin, Michael, for showing up and having a discussion. We talked a lot about video games today. I think it was kind of super awesome. We're about to jump into the post show. If you want to join that post show, it's super simple. Patreon.com/SelectStarNetwork, live and uncut tier, and we'll see you there. If not, we love y'all, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.